This should be played at high volume, preferably in a residential area.
It's the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast.
We're old school, right? We wash our own dirty laundry.
The name on the front is a hell of a lot more important than the one on the back.
I refuse to be judged by a grown man wearing a hockey jersey.
Game on! Game on!
We are back with another episode of the Dirty Laundry Game-Worn Hockey Podcast, episode 136. I would say thanks to Meli and Riley for being on last week. And, of course, we brought Meli back this week. Riley was going to join us, but a little under the weather. Do a little wrap-up on the LA show along with some other things. So welcome back. We'll talk about your recovery and some of the amazing jerseys. Seeing the pictures and stuff was so cool. So glad to have you back, Meli.
Thank you so much.
The drink this evening is it's called Barrel Proof, a little hefty, little strong bourbon, but easy to find around. I think you can get it most places around the country. So cheers to everybody. My old fashioned of the week. Drinking, and I'm assuming
cheers.
He may have been doing a little bit of that at the LA Expo, Mr. Mitch, or at least post Expo. I know I saw him dragging his cooler and set some pictures. So the Drink Your Face Off line of barware and clothing. So he was just at the LA Expo. He will also be, as he continues to post pictures, at the Las Vegas Expo next month. So Mitch is a traveling man. I just think he needs to drive the Zamboni from his shop all the way to Vegas. I mean, he should start driving now. But
I mean, Paul
to make it on time.
Paul and Mitch on the Zamboni for like that could be an entire. It could be a Netflix documentary series.
I mean, we had David Lynch all lined up to cover it, but he had to go ahead and die on us.
I picture
Sorry,
you guys
David.
like trying to get through the mountains, get up some of those hills and stuff. That would make for great television. So good call, Wade. I love that.
In real time. We'll stream the whole thing.
Yes.
Over Route 80.
Right. And thank you also to Patrick with the public display of collection. I know we'll be showing off some of his stuff. Mitch has a bunch of it with stuff he does in Vegas. I got to sort out the finalized stuff for the giveaways for the Vegas Expo. So thank you to him.
Patrick will have a full table there at
nice.
the Vegas Expo.
I thought
Mitch
that's
will
what was
manage
being
for him.
worked on, but hadn't got the final confirmation. So
He's confirmed, so that's great.
awesome. Now, is he coming himself or is Mitch helping him do it?
Mitch is going to be virtual Patrick.
Sweet.
So Mitch has to clone himself, and it's two Mitches. What a scary thought.
If you want to touch really quick again on the Vegas Expo, because we're less than a month away.
Yep, April 11th at New York. Right now, our discounted hotel rates are no longer valid, so it's whatever they're offering. That expired, I believe, yesterday, Wednesday. I'm going to talk to them, see if we can get some of that extended if people need rooms, especially for people who might be coming if your team makes the Frozen Four. But April 11th, New York, or starting early in the morning, going late, couple Barracuda games in town, which will be a lot of fun. And after LA, it's just going to be a wonderful weekend, or long weekend. And
Yes.
Meli will be there too, and Doc. Wade, unfortunately, cannot make it this year, but
Sorry.
Hey, well, you'll be there in spirit. We'll be messaging you a ton, sending lots of pictures, and maybe Paul, if we get lucky, if the hotel rooms have robes, we'll have to do a group robe picture.
Cardboard cutout.
Yep,
Yeah,
we can
cut
do
out a
that
Wade.
too. We will
robe.
sort stuff out to have
a lot of
have you there in spirit.
I appreciate it. I wish
think
it was a great show. And I do, while we're talking about shows, want to make sure we mention the Nova.
Yes, that is next weekend.
Yeah, the granddaddy of them all. So
Yes, for sure.
I want to
Shout
make
out
sure.
to Francis.
Yeah, make sure people are aware of that, and making plans and looking forward to being out there next week. So
Yeah, again, excited to hear your report on it after the fact and see the pictures. I know Migrate posted they were going to be there. So though it's always cool to see what shows up out there. Just a couple auctions I want to touch on, a little bit different a lot of other stuff that's already running is NHL Auctions has the Battle of Alberta Oilers jerseys. They were worn February 4th. That auction goes until March the 30th. The big one that dropped this afternoon and goes all the way to April 2nd are a lot of Olympic jerseys across all teams. If you're looking for a player, it is probably in here.
There.
Basically, it is 14 and a half pages of nothing but Olympic jerseys. I mean, France, Germany, you name it, the team is in here. Different. There are issued ones. It's all spelled out of what the jersey is. I just happened to stop scrolling on the Celebrini. It was worn versus Switzerland on February the 13th. Currently, 19 bids already at 10 grand. I want to go into the description on that. Jersey was worn by Canada's men's Olympic hockey team in the preliminary round 5-1 victory over Switzerland February 13th as a part of the Olympic Games. Item was collected on site behalf of the NHLPA. Hologram, all that stuff. Please note, in some situations, a player will wear multiple jerseys during a game. These game-worn jerseys are verified to have been worn at least one period of the specific games. I have not looked at enough descriptions to see, like, to find one, but if you're looking at particular players, be sure to look in there. The other mention of note in these descriptions, please allow up to 3 weeks for shipping. So just be aware of that. Shipping to U.S. or in the U.S. is 25. Shipping to Canada is 40.
That's pretty typical for them to take 2 or 3 weeks to get you jerseys. So I'm not surprised there.
But I'm glad that is spelled out. I always appreciate, no matter who the auction house or whatever it is, puts time frames on that, because I know some people, I think we get spoiled even outside of auctions or even in it. Like, again, going back to Wade, you and I with the Blues, is usually when auctions close and you get paid, they ship usually within 48 hours. And you get an email with the tracking number and all that stuff. And I know some of the other teams are pretty rapid on getting stuff out. Some seem to take a bit. But you mentioned something else on these, Wade, that caught your attention.
Yeah, they all look very wrinkly. So if you do buy one, I have a feeling you may have to fluff out some wrinkles. It looks like they probably got put away, and I mean, obviously
Shoved in a bag.
Yeah, they got sent from Europe back to the States and whatever. And I think that's something we've gotten used to. Hopefully, maybe now that they've gotten them out of the bags or photoed them, maybe they folded them a little bit nice and take some of those wrinkles out. But the white ones definitely can see a lot of wrinkly. So, but here, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be an interesting auction in the sense that, we saw what Fanatics did with the blind auction set that they had just released and were offering, and the prices on those. So, the litmus test will now be the ones in auction to see where they close, to see how on the prices they were or how off the prices they were.
Yeah, and we will get into some of the other Team Canada stuff here in a minute too.
In regards to the wrinkling, the jerseys are all the newer style Nike Swift.
Nike, yeah. So it's going to be like,
yeah. So they're always like that. They wrinkle so easily. So
for sure.
As much as I'd like to blame the handling of the jerseys on Fanatics why they're wrinkly, it's just the nature of the jersey. So
for sure, it's very noticeable compared to the Adidas material and now the Fanatics material that they use for the NHL jerseys. Just that's the material that Nike uses, and some of that stuff is just it feels frail in your hand almost, which is kind of crazy. I mean, not saying it is frail, but it has that feel and that look. So will be interesting to see what those look like if some of that comes out.
Yeah, I call them origami jerseys.
It's pretty close
because it's like a papery material almost.
Origami jerseys that I want very much. I have a whole bunch here I want.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good names. Like, the crazy part about that is it looks like, across the board, they're all, from what I could see, it looked like all NHL players that they have up. With the amount of players from around the league that made appearances in the tournament, I think it'll be hard pressed to find anybody who has a team that doesn't have at least one or two players that would come from their team. So pretty neat. It'll be
Yes.
to see what the prices end up.
Yeah,
And
they
they
do
have
have pictures of the
there's
front and the
something for
back. So
everybody. There's
Oh,
something
yeah.
for everybody on here.
Absolutely.
I'm looking at the Wawrinski, and it does have that comment that Doc mentioned. Where did it go? Please note, in some situations, a player will wear multiple jerseys during a game. These game-worn jerseys are verified to have been worn for at least one period of the specified game. These jerseys are game used and sold as in conditions, blah, blah, blah. But it's interesting that in the actual jersey description they have that, but they can't tell us if it was a one-period wonder.
Yeah.
For the Wawrinski, it was worn as part of the 2026 Milano games against Germany, February 15th, on the Wawrinski.
I mean, to play devil's advocate on that, with the amount of problems they've had, and maybe with not knowing if they weren't tagged properly, I mean, that's probably the safest way to go about it. I mean, in their defense.
Without a doubt. No, ideally they should, if they're having unique jerseys every game, they should have had someone in the locker room documenting them, like what they do for the Winter Classic. And
for sure. I guess the question becomes, each one of these teams probably had a pretty unique setup as far as their equipment, staff, and then for Fanatics, I hate to say cost effective, but I wonder how cost effective it would be to send a team of people to do all those games, especially with the amount of lead-in games. I mean, the logistics of a tournament like that, to tag each one for each period would be pretty intense. I'm sure with like the U.S. and Canada, it was probably easier or more manageable, I guess would be the easier part. But if you start talking about all the teams, especially if they're wearing multiples every period or every other period, it could get pretty dicey. So I'd rather play it. If I were them, I'd rather play it safe with that description.
Yeah, and I think that's what they did. They just put that in for every jersey, and at least everyone I've looked at so far. And it would be nice
Elvis Merzlikins, they have I think there's a couple of his in there, one of which specifically says backup goalie for the Denmark game on February the 15th. So there's in cases enough there. Plus, again, go look at the score sheets and stuff for the game. You can see who wore stuff and who didn't.
Yeah, absolutely.
And since they are the Nike Swift, they tend to get a number of marks and damage. So there should be, on a lot of the jerseys, especially the white ones, there should be matchable wear. Which, and then we may be able to determine, if it was worn multiple periods based on the wear.
Mm-hmm.
But that's an exercise for another day.
Right.
And someone else.
And that's really from the auction side that the Migray still has the wild jerseys that are going for a bit yet. But I wanted to touch on those as I got past the page of Oilers. I'm like, wait, why is there 16 pages listed for game worn jerseys there? And then I hit the next page. I'm like, holy crap, that would be why. But it's nice to see all the teams there. So if there's guys you like that I want to say aren't as big of names, because some of the names I'm scrolling through there I don't recognize, and they may just be because it's not NHL teams that I follow, but like the one, and I need to look up his name, the one goalie for which team was it? He made between all the games he played like 150 Italy. Saves. Was it Italy? Okay. See if that goalie's in there, because at least one of those jerseys has got to be hammered.
Yeah, and I mean, it's interesting to see what's going on with that. Not to be clowning around too much, but I'm sitting here tonight, and there are quite a few team ones going on this week as well. So I think tonight I've been hit up with a lot of them that are going to charity, so that's important to mention as well.
Mm-hmm. I want to touch on one more thing, but then we'll get to you, Meli, with the LA Expo, and then a few other topics before we get out of here tonight. This broke the day after our show last week. Again, speaking of Olympic jerseys and auctions, Dale Hubbley put this out in the main group, and I'll just read his post and then touch on a few of the comments in there. Fresh bad news from Hockey Canada. If you were a winning bidder on one of their Olympic jerseys, they received the game-issued set. Unfortunately, of the 4 sets, the other 3 went to the players, NHLPA, and the NHL. Therefore, look to see an actual game-worn set most likely be auctioned off through another channel not related to Hockey Canada. So right now at NHL auctions, the some of those being in there. Hockey Canada, the best Hockey Canada can do is offer you the game issued jersey they received at a significantly lower price. He won the Marchant, and they offered him the issued one for $800. Your winning bid and any processing fees will be refunded. Absolutely shitty news. Again, quoting from him. Very disappointed to hear, but so too are the folks at Hockey Canada Foundation who lose all the auction funds to help out hundreds of kids. And I was thinking about this at dinner tonight. Who should have the say in these? Who's making the contract deals with? Is Team Canada partnering up with Fanatics directly? Is it being dictated through the NHL? Who's doing this? Because there's enough track record there, like going back, Wade, with us, and other teams have seen it as well, the Red Wings and others, with the Winter Classic. The teams are ending up with the photo shoot jerseys and losing out on potential money because Fanatics gets a set, the NHLPA, and of course the players should get a worn set. I take no issue with that. But why can't either the NHLPA or Fanatics get the photo shoot set and the teams get a period worn set or a game worn with the Olympics?
My guess is politics. I'm sure that at some level, I mean, obviously the teams are going to fight for it, but from what we've been told and what it sounds like, it's been predetermined maybe by the NHL who's getting what. And at the end of the day, I'm sure there's some politics that go into that. But that's my best answer. That's my best guess.
And I will say, and I can't remember who posted, and maybe it was the same person who posted the other picture too, got their Team Canada jersey shipped to them, and it was just like in a plastic bag and stuff. But I do remember seeing on the pictures he posted, there was wear on the jersey. There were some puck marks and other stuff. So I'm a little surprised that actually had marks to it. But some people are thinking that maybe there's random some random jerseys showing up in there. But I mean, how? And it may be politics. It also may be that Fanatics is writing a check, and kind of making this deal with all the teams and say we dictate. But like we've talked to several teams through collectors or through others who've talked to their local team reps that they didn't find out what they were getting till after the fact, and that seems extremely problematic.
There's nothing good about it. I mean, at the end of the day, especially if you're one of the teams, who uses these as a profit center, and makes them available to fans of your team. I mean, it's, I know it's disappointing at that level for those guys. So,
I mean, for prime example for you and I is if the period one Blues jerseys were sold by the Blues instead of Fanatics, the Braden Shen, I think it was the first period, the fight jersey, would have gone for much more, and a lot of that money would have added up in the charity's pocket.
Yeah,
Dead Fanatics, it went into theirs, and Paul, I know same way with the Red Wings and stuff. I know people there and the Blue Jackets fans were also upset, but at least with the Wings, they came up with a creative idea to pull the patch off temporarily, play the other games, and then I believe they put the patch back on at the end, didn't they?
They did not put the patch back on. So I have a few. This was from. Wait, are you talking about the Stadium Series or the Global?
Either series? One, because they did the jerseys the same way as far as who got what.
Stadium Series, they put the patch back on. Global Series, the white set, they did not put the patch back on. And on a lot of them, you can see the outline of where the patch was. And the patch was not made available, which was unfortunate.
Right. But it's just, I know it's, and again, you can buy them through the NHL auctions as these things come up, or even this current one. But I know it's frustrating, especially, again, from Team Canada losing out on a lot of money but I don't know how these contracts are. We don't have access to them. I kind of wish I did. But I think Team Canada should always get first pick, or Team USA, or whoever it is should get these first picks, and not Fanatics. But that's just me. It's just, I know it upset, and some people it actually made slightly happy because they couldn't afford them initially. But if ones became available at an issued price to have an Olympic jersey, it at least opens up a slight opportunity. But I know the people who spent big money, yes, they're getting most of their money back, are going to be pretty pissed.
Now, I did hear, I don't know if it was in the original post, Hockey Canada is also offering free World Juniors tickets to
That's
people
nice if you're where you can go see those. I mean, it is a nice thing for those people, but that's probably a very small group inside of the people that were buying those, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's in Edmonton next year. It's somewhere out in Western Canada. And yes, I consider Edmonton Western Canada. So it's, tickets are not cheap for that. And, there should be some crossover on people who appreciate that. I think Team Canada's made the best out of a bad situation.
And it's not their fault. It's an unfortunate situation, and I'm not blaming them in the least, but I think how these stuff are handled, especially, and maybe, again, I don't know the structure. Maybe the IOC should get to not that I want them, because I don't really trust them either, dictate that, or the teams get the call and work with Fanatics to say what they get instead. But I know a lot of it has to do with money.
The only thing I will say negative against Team Canada on it is, why jump the gun and promote an auction or start an auction before you have the items in hand, or before you know what you're getting, right?
I mean, that's easy to answer.
Yeah.
Build up hype. If Canada would have won that game and the auction was still live, the bids would have been through the roof right after that game.
And but that's a better thing for them. My point is why start an auction that you don't know what you're receiving? I guess, and they've done it in the past and gotten away with it, because this isn't the first auction they've had where they've said, oh, you're either going to get one of whatever. But the problem is, I think this sets a precedent, or at least shows the problematic.
Oh, yeah. I don't recall them ever having a problem getting the jersey.
Oh, I don't think so either. But but again, this is a case where maybe this is an eye opener that says, hey, let's just wait until we have something in hand so we can tell people you're getting the issued black jersey, right?
Oh, no, I agree with that. But I think the hype that they would have had if, they won that game in overtime, the bidding right at that moment would have gone through the roof.
It would have been awesome to watch.
Yeah. Rather than people retracting bids, which they had a problem with.
Right. All right. We'll come back to some of the other topics, but I don't want to push Meli too late with this. So let's get a happier topic for a little bit before we get into some other bitching coming in. So question one, have you recovered from this past weekend?
Oh, I can't believe how exhausted I was. And like all of my friends were texting me going, I'm so tired. I can't believe it. Like people, just like our muscles, my legs, like we were having so much fun. It doesn't hit you to the end, because
once that adrenaline kind of just drains out from the thing, and you're like, holy crap, I can't move.
Yeah, because I didn't as a school teacher, I stand all day anyway. So I was like, standing all day. But we really did. Most of us stood all day long, and we're visiting with each other, and we're walking around and taking pictures and video. And then by the end of the whole day, Riley and I were the last ones to leave, and I was the last one to pack everything up. And finally, we just looked at each other and we go, we got to sit down. So him and I just sat down, and we're just like sitting there going, I can't believe, we pulled this off, and everyone had such a great time. And like Riley's like saying, like, I forget, some part of his body hurt, and I was like, my back, my feet, my whatever. And we just kind of sat there and we said, we got to go eat. We got to go get something to eat. So we went out to dinner after, and we had a blast. We were just eating, and we were just like so like excited that it was over, and we just ordered like a feast and just like celebrated after, just because everything was successful, everything pretty much, not too many hitches, and we just had so much fun that we're just looking forward to to the next one. And we're just so fortunate that, Vegas is right around the corner. And I think that's exciting because last year there was no Vegas anything. So we are like, oh, well, we got to figure out when's the next one's going to be. So,
So with that, you got there bright and early at what you said, 6 a.m.
right. Yeah. I
And,
think
and
Riley and Trevor got there, I want to say like 5:35 or
wow.
5:40 or something like that.
And
Mm.
so you guys immediately had to make some changes, didn't you?
Right. So by the time I got there, it's probably almost 6, and we just were so excited. We're, hey, everybody, da, da, and I went to go see everybody, and it was real convenient because the parking was right there, and the room was right off the main drag right there. So we went in, and we walked in, and the three of us just kind of looked at each other, and there's this big, beautiful room, and all the tables are these skinny, what do we say, 18-inch?
18-inch
Is that what
wide,
it,
yes.
18-inch wide, 8 feet long tables, and the three of us are just looking at each other with these like this, and our jaws are almost like what? And then expletive, expletive, expletive. What's going on? And we just looked at it, I go, this isn't going to work. And we're like, and Riley's like, well, it's going to have to work. And I'm like, no, this is not going to work. And so we just kind of froze for a second. And then the man that was assigned to the room, that worked for the hotel, he was just a younger guy, and he was just kind of looking at us, and I don't think he quite understood what it was. So I think maybe they thought maybe like I don't know, a card kind of show or something. I don't know. So I said, I know what we're going to do. So when I went out and he was standing in the little foyer area, and I said, do you have access to full size tables? And he said, yes. And I said, how hard, buddy, would it be if we swap these out? And I thought he was going to say, oh, no, we can't. He goes, we can do it really quick. He goes, I have access. Yeah, we can swap them out. He goes, I have 6-foot tables. So we're like, great, let's do this. And so all the guys that were there early started trickling in, and some of my family was there, and Gina was there, my spouse, and everybody just kind of pitched in and started just swapping the tables really fast, like an assembly line, taking the covers off, moving, moving, moving. And it probably took about, I think like 35 to 40 minutes. And this huge room was completely converted to the 6-foot regular size tables, which we thought we were going to have 8-foot regular sized tables, because the picture they sent to Riley, and we all approved it, said yes, those are the tables we want. We had no idea they were the skinny ones.
Yeah, and
so
those are very skinny.
yes, I mean, we're like, this isn't going to work. And so Trevor was in there and he was sweating, Riley was sweating, my family, Gerald, he came in, he's like, I go, I need you. I go, you're young, let's go. So they were just, the tables, I mean, everything was flying, swapping. And then the young man that worked for the hotel, he didn't complain. Now, he was so sweet. I mean, I thought, oh man, this kid's gonna be upset or anything. And at the very end, when Riley and I left, we were the last ones to leave, another man was in there kind of cleaning up, and he was folding up and putting all the covers into like a laundry bag. And we told them, we just want to thank the young man that was here in the morning for helping us swap everything out. And he looked right at me and he goes, I told my manager that these skinny tables were not going to work, and they didn't believe me. This was a whole nother man that I didn't even know. He was like the night shift. And he goes, I knew those tables were going to work. He goes, I told my manager. And I said, well, it's all good. We made it work. And thank goodness for all of your help. And please thank that young man for helping us and this and that. And he goes, yeah, no problem. So, with the teamwork, I think if it wasn't for the people that got there early, we wouldn't have been able to swap all the tables out. It was just crazy. And you know what? It was like teamwork, and nobody talked. I mean, it was like, first we went from flabbergasted with a million expletives to like, let's just get this done. And so it was just like nobody was talking. Everybody was just sweating and moving and sweating and moving, and it all got done. So by the time collectors started popping in, they had no clue what had happened, because we pretty much had it all done. I mean, Mitch got there a little early, and he kind of was like, okay. And so like, I think Paul, you got there early, no? Were you there?
Yeah, John and I arrived at about 6:30,
Okay.
and
That's
you were
towards the
already
end.
done.
Yeah.
The tables were all in the right place by then, the right size, and it looked
Right.
perfect. I mean,
Right.
you would not have known the
Yeah.
chaos that. Well,
Yeah.
we had no idea about the chaos you guys went through
No.
just
I know.
the 30, 45 minutes before that.
I know. And there were some collectors that were bummed out that they didn't get 8-foot tables, but eventually I think uh through the grapevine they heard that what had happened because not everybody knew. We weren't going to say anything, but then some collectors were like, "Well, where's the 8-foot tables?" I'm like, "Shh." Like, shh.
We're making
We're not
this
talking
work. Leave us alone.
we're talking about 8-foot.
And I will
I
be.
mean when you take a picture of the skinny table, it looks like the regular size. So I think that was the problem. And so the one of the managers sent those to Riley and he sent them to me and Trevor and we're like, those tables look fabulous, like nice big 8-foot tables. And then when we saw those, I was just like, and we had no idea. So here I thought I was gonna have 2 hours to leisurely talk and laugh and play around and set up my stuff. We didn't have that time because we were too busy moving all the tables, but it was all good. It ended up working out, and we were so happy that it was that we had people there because if people hadn't gone early, the guys that had come early, I don't think we would have been able to swap them like that, because they were heavy. A lot of the tables, like I started moving them, I'm like, oh Jesus, there goes my back, like it was a lot. So most of the guys like pitched in and thank goodness I really want to say it got done in about like 30 minutes, 35 minutes.
Wow.
Cool.
Yeah,
So
no, it looked great when I got there. It's
Good.
and
So
I
now
do
here's-
want to say
go ahead.
for Vegas, we're going to have 6-foot tables. Just so people already, I've already told a lot of people who have tables what to expect on the size. So
6-foot skinny ones.
we're going to have 6-foot by 30-inch, and we're going to combine 2 skinny ones for 6-foot by 3-foot.
Oh, okay.
Because we don't have a full count of how many of the 6-foot by 30-inch ones they have. So if someone does prefer to have the skinny ones for a certain type of display, we can do that too. We have flexibility. I don't expect too many people to want that, and I'm sorry I interrupted Wade. So what were you going to say, Wade?
Well, two things. One, I've had to use the skinny tables at my show, and a lot of people just a throw it out there kind of thing. If you're a mannequin person and you want to expand your setup, the skinny tables are actually great because you can set the mannequin on it and you can actually like double your space if you get 2 of those. So I've had a few guys take advantage of that in the past. So that's if you're not laying stuff out there, if you're putting mannequins, you can put one against the wall and then put one out front and then have a room in the middle. So there are people that I've seen do some pretty cool stuff with those. So if you do get quote unquote stuck with them, there are fun things you can do with them. So secondarily, I was going to ask, and I think the most important question of any expo is, what did you get and what did you move, or did you see something super cool?
The non-gear gear, I guess I have to say I collect gear because now I just have to say it because
You got more.
Because you brought home a whole bunch more, didn't you?
oh my God, it's not my fault. So
It is.
oh, no, it is not. It is not. So here comes LA Kings Game News comes in and it was Mark and Kyle, right? Kyle. And Kyle's new. That's why I'm sorry I had to think. But they come in, great attitude. And it was so funny. I didn't know until the end that Mark actually brought some Habs jerseys because he told the boys that I said he could only come if he brought some jerseys, but I never said that. So I never even knew, but I had seen some Habs jerseys kind of thrown over a chair, but I never bought. I should have asked what that was, but I didn't. And at the end, I guess Mark was sweet and he brought some stuff to share, but I don't know if he ever got to share them. But anyway, they come in with bags and bags and bags, and so everybody just goes boom, by the King's tables to say like what you bring. So he pulls out a big old giant, huge like tub of pucks, right? From everybody's players they love. Like, no, I mean, whoever you wanted, they had everybody. So, like, I hadn't even thought about it because I don't collect pucks, but of course, here I am looking through the pucks. So, so I was able to get I grabbed a Kempe game where he scored. They had 2 and a Fiala because I love him. So I grabbed a couple of those. But people were able to grab different pucks, and then they start putting out all the sticks, and then I see Kemper's stick. And I was like, oh man, I don't ever had a goalie stick. Like, this is too cool. So I'm like, I just grabbed it. I was just like holding it. And then Trevor was telling me, look at QB sticks, look at Byfield's stick. And so his sticks are so pretty. They're like blue and shiny. And I was like, Okay, so I grabbed that one. And then here comes Mark out of another bag, and he had a pair of skates. And I said, "Whose are those?" And he says, "Those are Panarin skates." And I said, "Give me those skates." And then I go, "How do you have Panarin skates already?" And he said, "Oh, these are his last Ranger skates." And I said, "I want those." And he says, "Yeah, here, you can have them like that." And everybody goes, "How'd you get Panarin's?" I was just happened to be, while I'm grabbing the sticks, Mark pulled out the skates out of a bag. And so I go, I gotta have those. And it was cool because, I mean, I know a lot of guys go, "I already know that," but I didn't know. But on his skates, he has you know how they have those blocker things like out of like Kevlar or whatever that protects the boot, the shoe,
Blockers,
the
yep.
foot. Yeah. His are clear. I've never seen clear ones, but maybe I haven't paid attention. But his are clear. They're really cool. And I was like, who can say they have Panarin's Last Ranger skates? Because
You.
he goes,
You
they're
can now.
Rangers.
Yes.
Yeah, he goes, they're Ranger skates. I'm like, I don't care. Like, these are really cool.
Well, you know
And
that's the pair he had in his bag when he arrived there.
yes, yes. And so I said, but I like now that I have these different pairs, like the Luke pair and the Kempy pair and the Dustin Brown pair. I was like, well, now I need the steel. I need Panarin steel. I don't need just any steel. I have to have his. He goes, okay, Mel, I'll later on. So that's probably going to be a year-long thing for me to finally get those. And now I know how to pop them in, so I feel accomplished now, right? So he gives me the skates. I get the skates. I get the Kemper stick, the QB, the Bigs, and then they didn't have a lot of jerseys because they gave them to King's Care, but they had a few, and they had a Jordan Spence, and they had a Jordan Spence one. And I said, I have his junior, so I like to pair up their junior with their adult team jersey. So I got that one, and that was really cool. And they had like Trevor Lewis's last one, so I think Trevor grabbed that. And they had a lot of practice jerseys and stuff. And I don't really do practice jerseys, so they had a bunch. But people were coming in the foot traffic, and they were buying all those things, and that was exciting. And then Bradley came by because I had a table of brown, a Kempy, and then like a mixed table. And I've only brought all that gear just because it was our home LA show. I would never take anything like that on the road because it's exhausting. If it wasn't for my family, I wouldn't have been able to do all that because it's just such a big like display. And so then Bradley came by and he said, when you have time, come by. I got something for you. And I said, okay. So like once we settled down, and I tried to take video of everybody's table because I wanted to put that on the pages so that everybody could enjoy like everybody's, fantastic display. And then I go by Bradley, and his stuff is Hall of Fame stuff. So he's got all this stuff up. And he says, I got something for you. And it was Dustin Brown's Hockey Fights Cancer warm up from the Cup year of 14, when, back when they wore them, you know, on the ice. It's a warm up, but it's really cool because it's when they first kind of started it. So it's the original, it's original jersey, but the kit is like the lavender,
Oh yeah,
but it's
I
the
love that
Reebok.
colorway.
Yeah, it's different. So it's got that old school vibe with the C when he was still the captain, and it had and he sold that to me. So I was super happy because it's very hard to get Dustin Brown stuff because all the Dustin Brown collectors, everybody covets their stuff. So I was very grateful to Bradley for selling me that. And then of course I had to look at the gear that I don't collect, but now I do collect it. So he has Luke's sticks there. So he has Robitaille's stick from when he was young and a stick from his retirement year or whatever. So you could see the difference in the way the gear is. So he sold me two of Luke's sticks, and then he had a Dustin Brown used stick and I only had an issue of Dustin Brown that I won in a contest. So when I don't collect gear, when I didn't. And so now I took that to my classroom so I could show my students because it's just an issued stick. It doesn't have the tape or anything on it. So now I have one that he did use, which is it's the same brand. So I got the three sticks, the Dustin Brown, and then Bradley's brother Brian brought these really cool little bobbleheads from the Cup year of 14, and he was able to give me. I was able to get a couple of my favorites, to Foley and Mike Richards and Justin Williams, the little collectible baubles with the little Stanley Cups. And then he had a Dustin Brown Monarchs bobblehead, which I didn't even know existed, but I have his Monarchs set when they were on strike and he played, they played in the AHL when they had the strike. And so I put I just barely put it on my table when people were like, "Are you selling that? I want that." Like they went straight to that little bobblehead of Dustin Brown. I said, "I just got it. I'm not selling it." But I did have a lot of foot traffic people that wanted to buy different things. And I wasn't really selling anything. Most of the stuff I brought was just for show. And then I had some other people come by and I had to, I taught them about like what the hobby is and what the jerseys mean and how you get them, because some people came just off our advertisements on the different Kings pages, and the people that came, they thought they were like fan jerseys, like they weren't quite sure what it was innocently. So like they were expecting like they could just buy anything off the rack, like if it was Team LA. Like you just go and you say, "Hey, I want a Fiala, I want a Edmondson, I want a Dano," like some of the stuff I had. And I said, "No," I said, these aren't for sale, but these are jerseys that the men actually wore in games." And they're like, they wore them. So I think they thought it was just like, I don't know what they thought. So like, I was like, "No, this is what this hobby is." And they're like, "Oh, that's why, people aren't selling, or that's why it'd be so expensive." And like, I kind of explained what it is. And they're like, "Oh, okay." So, because I think some of them wanted to just see what the Kings were selling. So that was the draw to get in there to see because the Kings had like 3 tables of stuff. And then some of the people that innocently enough had no idea about what the hobby is or what it entails. So I noticed that, but it was neat to see everybody was doing deals and trading and buying and stuff. And it was a blast.
That's great. And so the Kings setup looked great. It did look like they brought a lot of neat things. What were some of the biggest surprises? And actually, well, let me go back a second before I ask the other stuff. What was the Kings pricing like?
Oh, it's great. Like Mark always, like those kind of sales, it's even better than the garage sale that they have, a parking lot sale at the end of the season. I mean, he just basically works with you. And I think they were very happy at the end because I asked him, I said, did you sell enough stuff? And he goes, "Oh yeah." Like they were very satisfied because they were able to move a lot of product, but he works with you. Like he'll just say like, if he said, "Oh, the jersey's 200," and it's like, "Well, what if I buy this stuff too?" And he's like, "Okay, 175." Like the prices were really incredible if you were able to find stuff you like, you know. And so everything got sold. Even Paul, they had player hoodies from Fogel, because he got traded. They were beautiful. I just didn't buy any more player hoodies because I have such a nice collection, and it's like I need like 10 more closets to fit all the player hoodies. It's like I don't have room anymore. But they're really nice. They had the ones with I think, Paul, you got the one with the new the third logo that when the Kings wear them on Saturdays.
Yeah,
the crown, the new, yeah.
Yeah, I picked up, and I still have that one. I picked up 4 of them at the end of the show. Just I told them we'll work out a deal with whatever's left and pick those up. I gave one to John Flynn, who and shout out to John. Thank you for driving me to and from the expo. He lives close to where my sister lives, where I'm down there dog sitting a lot, where I have a different background for the show. And that was just great. He got me like at 5:45 in the morning to drive out there near Pasadena. And thank you so much for that. And then I left one with my sister down there in LA. So one's there. So I brought 2 home. And I kept the one with the new design on it.
Oh, yeah. That's the font. The font is that kit. The new,
yeah. Yeah, it's really cool. They're really nice. So Monica and I have 2 of those. I will say when the King showed up, you are right. Everyone then went over that table, but it wasn't like people weren't grabbing things and all that. People were like, deferring, like, "Oh, if you want that, take it instead." It was really, really nice to see, and they were pulling.
Oh, they had the names, the locker room, or the locker.
Oh, yes.
What are they called? The
nameplates.
The nameplate. Sorry, yes.
Yeah.
And so Paul gave me this amazing Dustin Brown Stanley Cup playoff ones that all of a sudden Paul is like Felix the cat pulls it out and he's just like, "Here." And I was like, "Oh my God," I was so excited because I didn't have one. And so I put it, now I have one for my brownie table Thank you, Paul. It was like a highlight of my day. I don't know. I don't even know where you got it, but I was like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. So I put that, and I got a lot of people were collecting them for like friends, family, different players they like, and or displays. Like I know Trevor, he collects certain players, and he has a setup in his house, and he likes to put the little locker room, the little name tag like right by the display, so it looks really nice. So they brought a bunch of them, like players from like just all over. Like, there was tons
Yeah,
of those.
yeah. I got
Yeah.
the Eric Portiello for myself,
Uh-huh.
and then the Dustin Brown for you, of course. So
Uh-huh.
it's that
I
was
just
behind the table. Mark didn't take that one out, so it's
okay. So
so we knew where that one was going at the end of the day. So
you had those connections.
yeah,
There were just so many. They were so cool, and all from different times too, huh? Like different things, like training camp, Stanley Cup playoffs, different things, and it was neat because especially like some people came like that are big Ontario Reign fans, and so they got a lot of the boys that are from the AHL guys, and they grabbed a lot of those, and there was one that just said Kings, and I told Mark, "You're giving me this one for free," because like yeah, whatever.
Those are some of the
So
fun
it
ones
was
to get because the Blues always have different designs than just the ones that say St. Louis Blues on them. And
yeah.
those are fun thing. I mean, Paul and I this week, outside of course, outside of the Your King show, the Springfield Thunderbirds dropped some, so he reached out to me to since he was on a walk to pick up a few of those, and those are on the way to us for me to bring to Vegas out for him. And it's the of course Wade loves it, the Simpson style ones. We picked up a few of those, and they're just cool pieces. They're not real
Yes.
expensive, but they look nice and they're always well done.
Uh-huh. And you could probably get those, would be neat if you get them signed too. That's something like, I know some people they don't like autographs or whatever,
And
but
like
something
Springfield,
like that would
since
be cool. Yeah.
if you pick the players, the Springfield ones, the players have already signed them when you're buying them, which is kind
Oh,
of
that's
cool.
great. That's exciting. Yeah. I was like, well, and then I wrote to the guys because Mark and Kyle said, just send us an email and remind us what you grabbed, and we'll send you LOAs and whatnot. So, I thanked them for attending, and I said, this is what I picked up, and then I said, I don't even know if you even give stuff for pucks. And I didn't think they did. They do. I was like, so Kyle wrote back and he says, yes. He goes, just tell me what pucks you have, and we send you like the certificates for the pucks. And I was like, okay, I'm not a puck person, so I don't know how that works, but I know a lot of people collect pucks. So I was like, I had no idea. So I'm going to get some for the Fiala ones I got and the Kempe ones that I got. So anybody at the show that got the pucks, LA Kings game used, will give you the certificates that go with those pucks. You just have to email them and tell them which ones you purchased. That's what they said, because
That's
same with
awesome.
the
for
jerseys.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah, and
they'll
the
issue the
jerseys,
LOAs
yeah.
for jerseys too.
Right.
Of course.
And sticks too.
Oh, it's,
I don't know what they would give for Panarin's. I gotta. I don't know what they're going to give me for that.
I'm sure Mark will come up with something creative for it because we really have.
Yeah, I was just like, wow. I was just like, that is just so cool. So I think the skates finally convinced me, and that like I semi collect it now. Semi. I'm admitting semi.
You'll be bringing more
Semi.
stuff from Vegas. That's equipment probably too. Then
How
Yeah,
much you've grown in a week? It's just
I gotta bring those Panarin skates for like any Ranger fans that are over there so they can check them out. They're
those
pretty
are cool
cool.
things to see. It's always fun to see what different things like that, or what players, like you said, with the shot blockers, because different players wear different types of those. So now going on from that to the other collectors, the other people that brought tables, what were some of the just shocking pieces that you did not expect to see in that room?
Brian had a Gordie Howe.
photo match to his 500th goal.
Oh,
That is
It was
insane.
unbelievable. So many repairs on it. It was stunning.
It just was like, I was like, what? Like, it was almost like if it was a cartoon, it would be like, oh, like I was like, wow, because he told me he had a banger. Like Brian said, like, because we talk here and there, and so he said that something was coming. Something was coming, and he's such a sweet, humble man. Like he's just such a nice guy, and I was just like, oh my gosh, and when I was doing the video, I was just like, oh. I should have just taken longer to video it, but it was just really incredible. But everybody's tables were so special because they all brought something. I love it. The setup is so cool because everybody has different ideas, and like the penguins, the flyer table. Mitch's stuff is always so inspiring, and like I don't know, everybody was just, we even had a Ducks guy. I never talked to him. Paul, what is the Ducks guy? I didn't get to talk to him. But he had because remember we said we wanted a Ducks person? He had a,
right?
yeah, he had a ton of Duck stuff. It wasn't like out, it was like rolled, but it's like he had everybody on. He had Perry. He had, I didn't have as much, the thing is, it's like you wish you could have more time because there wasn't enough time to do the deals, share, talk to everybody, go around. Like I didn't have time to talk to everybody that I wanted to. I was just able to get all of the video and stuff, but everybody, it was so impressive. But I think the showstopper was definitely Brian's Gordie Howe. It was just incredible. And then some people's racks, it wasn't just like stuff on the racks. It was like Hall of Fame stuff on racks. Like I was just like, oh my God. Like you're just flipping through, and there was really, it was nice because even though it's Los Angeles, there was something for everybody because every team basically was represented in some capacity. So, that part I think is great about our show, is that there was such a nice mix, and everybody got along so well, and everybody was so like encouraging of each other, and just like very praising everybody for what they had. And it was just really cool. And it was neat to see like the years span too, from like collectors that just collect newer stuff to like time frames where it's just like, wow, stuff from, and I'm old, so like stuff from before, way before, all the way up, to now, just seeing like just the different years, how Paul, like the representation of the years was
Amazing.
incredible.
The Ducks collector, I think that was Brandon Hetland, if I
Okay.
remember right. Back in the corner, right? By
Yes.
yes, yeah. He also was the one who brought basically a rack partially full of old Minnesota North Stars jerseys,
Oh wow.
Yes.
Nordiques. Well, he had some pretty amazing stuff there. Rockies, you know. A couple Seals jerseys, all for sale.
Yes.
So yeah, nice for Red Wings. It was an incredible table.
And the
I
neat thing was like the guys that came that brought other teams, they were sweet because they would tell me, look, I brought guys that played for LA at one time,
yeah.
to like, it was fun like that, like they had Simone Gagne, and like the William Justin Williams, and like I don't know who else, I forget who else he had, but it was neat because it was like people were trying, if they could, to represent players that played for LA as well as their team. So that was a lot of fun to see those things like that.
Yeah, it's the displays there were just incredible, like Hall of Fame worthy stuff, and also stuff from last year, which uh, just all over the place, really cool. One of my favorite items I saw was, I believe it was 1934 King Clancy Leafs jersey with
Wow.
no number on the back of Shamrock. I'll share photos later on when I finally post my Expo photos, but it was just a stunning piece. It was worn like one period, in 1934, but it's a King Clancy jersey. That was, just there. It was unbelievable.
How could they identify that as a one period jersey?
He had to change out of it because the color was different and it didn't have a number on the back.
Really?
Yes,
Interesting.
Weird ass story.
yeah, I'll
Huh?
see if I can get more details on that. But it's just, it was a local collector there who has been at most of the LA shows.
That's pretty
So,
interesting.
yeah, I mean, and he had stuff. What was it? Phil Esposito, I believe it was. I think it was the Esposito 1972 Summit Series, Team Canada. Um, just unbelievable pieces. It's Jean Rattel, Rangers. Great stuff out there.
And
So now,
and the neat thing too is like the first year, attendees or even the ones that have never ever done anything before, you couldn't tell. Like they were so happy. And at the end I said, like, I talked to one of them and said, like, you had such a good time, I know you did, and you came out of your shell. And and they said yes, they had a blast. And some collectors, they like to be private, and I know it's a big step for some, and they're more introverted, just in life. And they had a blast, and they got out there. And I know that's hard to do when you're not used to it.
Yeah.
And I was super proud of them. And I understand, like, even me in life, like, I'm a teacher. So in the classroom, I'm always selling what I teach. But like in life, I'm not always out there. I'm more introverted with stuff, and I understand when people are like that as human beings, that it takes a lot sometimes to share and to do something new as a older person, and just kind of get out there and be part of it. And
It is
it
always
seemed like,
interesting. Yeah, it's always interesting to see people who you can tell are not comfortable at the start of a show, even
yes.
really interacting with people or putting stuff on a table, or even, you'll see them sneaking around with a bag, and just getting them to unzip that thing sometimes can be a challenge. But
Right.
good
So,
people.
yeah, that was really cool. And the thing that was neat is that everybody's so excited to just share and be together, even though everybody had different teams and different wants and gets and things. And then talk about Vegas. So, like, I mean, it's neat because it's like to me, every time we have the show, it's like my favorite holiday is Halloween, but it's like Halloween, Christmas, 4th of July, all wrapped up. Everyone's so excited. And then at the end, it's like, wow, it's over. But this year, it's so cool because we've gone in this progression. Like, we started with San Jose, and we had a blast. And it's a blast, Paul, everybody, and had so much fun. And we said, oh, and said, hey, we'll see you next month. And then we're like, yeah. And then LA comes, and we're like, oh, it's over. Say, hey, but we're gonna have Vegas. And so, I mean, it's exciting because we're having these three shows. And if we can keep that tradition and fit it in the calendar correctly, it gives people a chance to recoup, get some time, and go. So a lot of the guys, like, they came up to me and said, hey, Meli, are you going to Vegas? I said, yes. Like, we decided to go. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to be there too. We'll see you in a month. So people are looking forward to doing it one more time. And I think that's important with the hobby, like, just the excitement of it, that we know that there's another one. So like, with at the end of Vegas, you're going to be like, oh man, what are we going to do next? So I think for me, my next goal would be to travel to the Midwest or East Coast and do a show sometime there. But as a school teacher, it's hard for me to fit it in my time. And so it has to be maybe something in the summer. I don't know. I don't know who does shows then, but I always want to go to Francis Rady's show. He came out to one of ours a few years ago, and I love him to death. And he's a big rock and roll guy. So I always want to do that, but I can never quite fit it in my schedule with teaching and everything. So maybe when I retire, I'll have a little more freedom. I don't know.
That's the hardest part of the whole hobby, is getting to all of them, because you want to attend all of them, but then it costs money and it costs time, and sometimes both of those can be difficult, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now
I
I
mean,
think though, now that we have at least we have a three show West
Yeah,
Coast
you guys
kind of.
got a West Coast swing.
Right. I like that. So now we need somebody to do something in, like, let's say, Seattle, or
yep.
something in there. Something
Seattle would
over,
be great. I know
yeah, like,
Colorado keeps trying. In Colorado, that's
or
not too.
maybe even, yeah, Colorado. Like, Riley would love that. He's from there.
Yeah, no, it's.
Riley's from Colorado.
I mean, I'm convinced we're going to keep San Jose and LA going. Vegas. I'm helping running it this year, but hopefully Bill or John or someone can take that over full time for and keep it going each year and coordinate it with the Kings, because Frozen Four is a special event. But I know it's absolutely wonderful. If you're looking for another show, I do recommend Wade's show in October. That will be an awfully good one, as
We have
always.
fun.
Oh, of
Oh
course.
yeah, just a
And
little.
Well,
Francis made it there for one of the days last year. It was
Yeah,
cool catching up with him and sharing stories and BSing, and it's
a lot of
like
good people.
Melly, like you said earlier, it's just you're standing around all day. Even at Wade's show, there's always chairs at every table, but nobody pulls them out until way late in the day when we're all very tired.
yes. Yes. Oh, and then we had the food. The food ended up working out too because the hotel was so strict. And he told Riley, no food, no blah, 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 blah. And we're just like, okay, and it was like that before at the other hotel we were at. And then they brought out these little slips and said, just fill it out. And right across the hall, I mean, it took 2 steps. They had set up in the little bar kind of area. They had all the burgers, the chicken, the salads, the everything, and it was so convenient. It was delicious. You just gave them your little ticket, and they were so accommodating, and everybody just scarfed down their food because we were having so much fun talking. Everybody kind of realized, oh my god, everybody's hungry, and so like they said no food and food. There were all these rules, but they never said anything, huh, Paul? Like I guess their food was okay, but no other
Yeah, I
food.
just didn't want
I don't know.
outside stuff brought in since their restaurant can make money.
Right.
Exactly.
So the food was great. And there's a lot of restaurants around there after. So we went out to eat after. We went to BJ's after, and Riley and I just took a deep breath, and we were just so excited. Trevor had to go home. He just had another baby, so he had to go home to his wife and kids. But we wanted Trevor there with us, but we were unable to. But the rest of us had dinner, and we had a blast, and just ate a bunch of food. And for whatever reason, basketball was on TV. So I'm not a basketball fan, but they were watching all this basketball stuff. So I don't know, but we had a great time, and we were just so happy that we pulled it off, and now I'm trying to convince Riley to come to the Vegas show.
Hopefully that works out. The more people we get to hang out with and meet and stuff will be great. I'm glad it went well. Everybody had a good time. As I say, just seeing the pictures and stuff was amazing. And Paul, both you and Meli having a great time there. I'm glad you guys all shared stuff, and we were messaging with Paul during the show, and it's good to see these go off no matter where they are. As we keep pushing more people to start them and different things. Reach out to any people that have put them on. Everybody's going to help you. Just like Meli, like you said, with you getting there and realizing the tables are wrong. There's things to think about beforehand for the best experience. And yeah, things do pop up. You either go with the flow, or if you can correct them. I mean, Wade's had to do some stuff, and Paul, I know you've had with San Jose, and there may be surprises when we do the setup for Vegas. I mean, it's just things people across the country in these expos have gone through issues or sorted out problems. Everybody's going to be willing to help answer your questions wherever you start one.
And shout out to a couple of guys. I know Renee Barba has been very supportive of our show. He took ill, so he wasn't able to come, and I know he was looking forward to it. So Renee, we missed you, but we hope you feel better. And so we had one of his tables, that's why he wasn't there. And I think he was at the hotel, but he just didn't feel well. So I felt bad for them. And shout out to Jeff Burge. His wife was not feeling well. And so we told him, it's okay, buddy. We understand family. But he was able to come in the latter half, and he has an amazing Buffalo Sabres collection. And so he brought his daughter, and he came out for a few hours, and he goes, please, if you need to give away my table. I said, oh, come on, Jeff, please come. And so Riley and I said, please come. And he's such a wonderful man. He came, brought his daughter, got to meet her. He shared some really cool stuff, and he just came for a few hours, but he actually did set it up. But I wasn't able to. I took the video of everybody's before he had come, and by the time he came, I was unable to go and do another video, and then people started tearing down their stuff. But he was super sweet. So shout out to Jeff for coming out, even though everything was going crazy that day for you. And I don't know, Paul, if were you able to see his stuff, the Sabre stuff?
Oh, it was incredible. He even had one of the 9/11 jerseys from when they played the Rangers. It was a ton of different Sabre styles. It was really cool to see, and to see it in LA. I mean, who would have expected that? So.
And shout out to Jeff too, because he was one came to our very first expo that Michael and I had done in the little tiny room. He was one of the first guys to be. It was him and John Flynn and Bradley Tweeton, and I think it was Vince, who didn't come this year. Maybe Franklin, I forget, but some other guys that might have been out of the hobby now. But Jeff was one of the first guys to do the first year with us and just take that leap when we didn't know what we were doing. And he came, and I remember him. I was talking to him about a Zhitnik jersey that he had, and he doesn't have it anymore. But Jitnik was one of my favorites when he was that defensive pairing with Rob Blake back when I was younger, and I loved meeting those guys and talking. So it was neat. I love talking about King players that I love that go on to other teams, and Jeff was always very sweet and sharing his stuff, and I just can't believe he came out even after he was going through all that, and it was good to see him, and shout out to him too as well.
I have a
That's
few
great. Oh, sorry.
show
Go ahead,
com-
Paul.
few show comments. It was an incredible show, and after San Jose, it was just so much fun. Getting down there, seeing everyone. Um, couple of things. I kept trying to get down to Brandon's table. Meli had Mitch and me set up in the middle of the room, basically, and Brandon was at one of the other ends. So I had to go down and get to his table. Most of my trips down there, I ended up getting delayed, just stopping to talk to someone. And I swear, the day went by so quickly. So I talked to someone for a while there, tried to make the Brandon's table, but there was someone back at my table I had to come back to talk to, and it just I don't know how many steps I did, just trying to get to that
Yes.
end where Kevin and Brandon were, and it's just like it was it was so nice just chatting with everyone about everything, and we're getting a lot of people come out to Vegas. One Expo tip, and you mentioned about not standing the whole time, not sitting. Remember to hydrate and drink water. I think
Yes.
Yeah.
John and I were both like, we realized like at whatever time we left, 3, 4, 5, I can't remember what it was. We barely drank anything that day, and we were just
Yes.
so dehydrated. And
Uh-huh.
we were chugging the free water there on before leaving, and just remember to do that during the show. I remember to do it at home even during the show, but at the
Yeah.
expo, totally spaced on it.
Yeah,
And
because
so that's
you're
my
just you're so in the moment, you forget. That's why,
yeah.
like, once everybody left, Riley and I just kind of sat there for like 5 minutes, just sitting there, going like, and I was like, "What is wrong with me? I stand all day long. What are we talking about?" But, making try like you're right, like trying to get to a table, but like because I had such a large display, you know, uh, thanks to my family, because if it was just me, I would only do one thing because it's just so much work. And so like so many people that I didn't know had come by, and I had some people that came by that were I don't know if they were foreigners or like English was their second language, saying I want that, like they wanted to like buy a lot of the stuff that I had, and my spouse, when I wasn't there, said, "Oh, those aren't for sale." And the person said, "Well, I want it though. That's what I want." Like kind of like there was like a barrier, I think, in the language barrier or whatever. But some people just want to come in and say, "I want that." Like that's it. I want it.
Dude,
And it's
that
like,
doesn't
"Oh,
work.
that's not for
Yeah, they're
sale." But
That doesn't work.
uh, yeah,
I mean,
they're down.
anything's for sale for the right price, but the price may be not what they expect to hear.
Yeah.
right, yeah. And some of the like I said, some of the people that came that didn't understand about, but I mean, even if you go to Team LA and you just buy an authentic pro authentic, you're still paying almost $500. So I don't know why some
Sure.
people were like, I'm like, we're confused as to pricings of things. So I don't know. Maybe they're used to like the fan, like, I don't know, premiere stuff. I don't know. But when we explained it to some, it was like, oh, okay, But I just think everybody got a blast out of it, no matter what. I look forward to next year. There's always going to be little hitches, but everybody pitched in, and I think that was the most exciting part. And then just the camaraderie and being able to see each other, because over these years now we've built these great friendships, and it's so cool. Even though everybody has different teams, we all laugh, we all joke, we all get along, and that's what I love about it, that we have such a mix, and there's something for everybody, and we've all become these lifelong friends now. And even though if we haven't seen each other in a year, you still catch up like it was yesterday. So that I think that's one of the coolest things, and just knowing that we're out there, so when we're on the Facebook pages, they know like, hey, that person was on your guys' podcast, or that person, that way, if you're buying, selling, or trading, that you're safe. So we start to learn about more collectors and people, and that they're not like people that they're people that you can trust. And I think that's important, to be able to buy, sell, and trade like we do on the pages, because when you don't know somebody, you're like, you're a little wary, or like you're not sure if you should go on with that transaction and stuff. So the more we spend time with each other and learn new people and stuff, it grows the community. And I think that's important.
This has been
Exactly.
an incredible year for that, with the two shows back to back and upcoming the third. Last two comments about the show. The walkthrough traffic was great. We had a lot of people who didn't have tables who somehow found out about it, and some of them sound like they're coming out to Vegas too, to not to display but to visit and go to the show. And then we've talked about the show for a while now, and we have not even mentioned that there's one Gretzky jersey in the room too. There was a Gretzky Kings there.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I don't know. You saw it, right, Meli?
Yeah.
Was it in Bradley's collection? Yeah. It's
Yep.
just like, just throwing it
We
out
love
there.
you,
There
Bradley.
was,
We love you, Bradley. Thank you for coming back.
Big deal. Just a Gretzky. Nobody
Gretzky,
cares.
just a Gretzky Kings hanging out in there. But it's it was just incredible to see this stuff. Have the pleasure of
And the best thing is that all the collectors are humble, no matter what it is. Gretzky, Gordie Howe, whatever, just cool about, everybody's cool. Nobody was pretentious. Everybody was supportive, and just having good times, and also bringing their family. From your area, Paul, we have Eric Rosa, who's kind of new to the game, and he brings his family, and it's a family affair, and his son is wonderful, and his daughter, and they're excited because they're going to be in Vegas too, and we get along so well, and his setup was incredible. And it was neat to see that collectors, they're not alone. They're starting to bring their kids or their spouses, and getting everybody involved, and I think that's what's really cool about it.
Yeah, no,
that's what it's all about.
We need some more of your San Jose people, Paul, that we love, that we wanted them. Maybe next year they could come down. Your whole
we're
crew.
working on them. Yeah, it's I know some had conflicts and stuff, and we're not getting as many San Jose people to the Vegas show as we would like, partly because it's the last regular season game for the Sharks.
Oh.
So, which but there's always going to be conflicts, and we were at the mercy of the Frozen Four date, and I'm thrilled to be going back to the Frozen Four. Again, it's so much fun.
Back to back.
I know
years. Look at that.
Yeah.
I know you're a big college guy, so I know how excited you and Monica are.
Oh yes, and sorry, BU will not be there. So it's.
I know Gina was sad. I go, I don't even know how that works, but that was her school, and she's all, Paul said they're out. They didn't even win, and I was like, okay. Yeah. But I said that's why I'm in on those AHL games. However, that's going to work. Gina and I we want to go onto those.
Yeah, I'll put out ticket information pretty soon on that. So I'm trying to figure out the best way to handle that. I looked at both nights there. Lots of tickets left directly from Henderson. So I don't know if we can get a better deal or not from them, or if one of the FIVO links will be active for it. But I am not worried about being able to get tickets for that game based on.
I'm just excited to see another place, another AHL place, just to kind of check it out. But that's why I said it's always your Barracuda, and that's never the Rain or anything. It's it's that's what Gina said. Why is every time we go, it's a Barracuda game? It says, yeah, I know. It's okay.
Oh, but Gina loves the Barracuda, so it's
no, I know. Now she's like, I'm gonna go like this and whatever. I'm like, no, you're not. No, you're not.
Yes, she will. Yes. We would not expect anything less.
So. Yeah, right. She's excited though. I think Riley's gonna try to make it out. I think he said so. I hope he does.
Drag him out, throw him in luggage, do something.
I think the whole thing is his girlfriend's birthday. So I
bring her along. She'd love to go to Vegas.
That's what I said. I
go,
Gina, I said, we'll take you out for whatever dinner you want. And I go, and if you don't want to be at the show part, you could sleep in, and then and you can go to the games, or we'll take you out for your birthday, and, make it a long weekend. So hopefully Riley will convince her and he can come. Otherwise, he won't be able to make it this year. Yeah. I know Trevor wants to come out, but he's really busy with the new baby and stuff. So I think maybe next year he could make that trip out.
The new baby excuse. I can't blame him though. That's
Well, again, congratulations to you and Riley on another successful show, and again, amazing pictures, great turnout, all of those things. So definitely keep it up. If you already have dates locked in for next year, or will you just announce them very soon?
No, Riley and I have to talk, but it's always going to be in March. And then we talked to Paul just like kind of space it out between the San Jose, and so that people have a time to breathe and plan. But we do in March. You guys do January the end, right, or beginning of
That
February?
that's what we've typically done the last couple of years, but that might change a little bit. We definitely will not do March. I mean, it's
Yeah. So
yeah,
we'll always do March, and then I don't know who's taking over Vegas, but hopefully they'll do it April or something.
yeah, or even in the fall. It's would be nice to
Mhm.
break up. Well, hey, a lot of we're at the mercy of the Barracuda, Sharks, Kings, and Knights schedule because
Mhm.
none of these cities are going to have the Frozen Four in the foreseeable future. So it's once the schedules come out, we'll start talking dates. And for
I
us,
think we're gonna stay with the same hotel. I'm pretty
great choice.
sure.
Yeah.
It's the room was so nice and was able to accommodate. And what sold me though was just the helpful people that were assigned to our room. I mean, the guy could have said, you know what, I don't have access to those tables, but I was super happy that he was able to help us. And nobody complained, which is great. I didn't have no attitudes. Everybody was really cool. So I think Riley, I think we're going to stick with that hotel. It was easy to get to and it had easy access. So I think we're going to be staying there. And next year, I know we'll have more people, I'm sure, even more, because there was I know of at least 7 collectors that typically like to come to our shows that because of family stuff weren't able to. So I'm hoping that they'll be able to this next time. So fill that room. We had a little bit more room that I'd like to fill up, but we ended up having 33 tables because John came because John
Yes.
had his family stuff he had to deal with. So he came, he was a last minute add, John Flynn, who we love, and he came in. So he was our 33rd table. So we actually had a little more than last year.
Yeah,
Very
and
nice.
it's a huge room, and you did actually close off one of the rooms for storage too.
Mhm.
We can fit. You could probably easily fit 50, 60 tables in there if you wanted to,
Oh yeah,
easily.
for
We're-
sure. So
And
yeah, Doc, you need to come to LA too. You got to do a back to back.
I gotta work on that with sorting out for future years which expos, because I want to try and do a West Coast swing and an East Coast swing and try and hit some around. Get out. Hey, I am getting outside the Midwest this year with coming to Vegas, but I definitely want to hit some more. With that, I want to touch on one more thing, and we're going to save the other topic for next week, just because I want to do a little bit more research on it, see if we can find out any more. Is I got tipped off by a few people, Wade, and I think Paul did as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, Paul, because by the time I went to go look at it, it was already deleted from Marketplace. But it was a group of Red Wings authentic certificates that were blank folders, letterhead, and I thought somebody even said, or one of the two messages I got said even had like stickers with it.
It had stickers. I just sent pictures of it to you.
yeah,
Um,
Hockeytown Authentics LOAs. So when Hockeytown Authentics gives you an LOA for a jersey or something else, they send you a piece of paper which is generic and 2 holograms. One you're supposed to attach to the LOA, one you're supposed to attach to the item. No one ever does that. You just have the 2 holograms there. And Hockeytown Authentics has a database where that you can look up the number. And you have to call and ask. And I believe some of the old LOAs actually said call this number and ask for authentication details. So as we've discussed on the show before, um, around the time the move from Joe Louis Arena to Little Caesars, the laptop that all this data was on crashed. I have no idea. There weren't any backups. I have no idea where the disk is now or the laptop because I don't. It could be readable. We could possibly extract the data if we had access to it. So all these older pre Little Caesar LOAs, there's really no way to validate them and look them up. Which then comes into what happened today, which I think it was $200 for 6 LOAs, the 12 holograms, and the writing in the post, the for sale post, was actually disgusting. They basically say you can make your items worth more by attaching these LOAs to them.
and there's
And
the picture up on the screen there now of that
oh,
for people who have video. But yeah, it's That is insane.
Oh yeah, and there's the phone number underneath to call to get it authenticated.
The the best part, the best line of the whole thing is, you could make a big profit with these if you have any signed Detroit Red Wings collectibles. You're going to make it official with these authenticity certificates. Like, I mean, basically, it's like, I mean, you can put them on anything and say they're good. I mean,
Where are those at? Is that Facebook
it's
Marketplace?
it was.
What is
It was, but I'm assuming the lister took it down.
It's
I,
no longer on there. But I mean, you know, I mean, this just comes back to, and I guess my background, I've dealt with it for years, seeing companies make mistakes with stickers and certs, going back to Steiner, going to, other player cert stickers that have gotten out. And, I mean, where there's value, there's fraud. And the unfortunate aspect of that is when people have this kind of stuff or have access to this kind of stuff, or if teams do a poor job of, managing it by sending stickers not attached to things, this is unfortunately what can happen. It's scary. So,
and
I
at
guess,
least with these, and at least one of the two messages I got, and maybe you guys got some of the same, is somebody was trying to make the purchase to buy these to destroy them. One of the collectors was actually trying to get these out of circulation and burn them. And if that happened, or if that collector wants to reach out, and we won't even share his name if they don't want to, and they had to spend the $200, let's take up a collection and everybody send them $5 or $10 from around the hobby, because that is a huge jump to make to save a lot of headaches later. I about fell out of my chair when I got that message yesterday about this.
Yeah, I'm messaging him. Well, I sent him a message asking if he got them, because that was his plan, was to purchase them and destroy them.
Yeah, and if he had to spend the $200, let us know. We'll put a thing out where, I mean, if everybody wants to Venmo him $2 or whatever it is, and no collector should get stuck with having to drop that kind of cash on their own to destroy something. But that's awesome that it was caught, and hopefully, and we'll follow up with the story next week if we get all the pieces filled in. But that in itself is extremely scary. And again, one of the things that means a lot to me, means Wade and Paul, is when things like this happen or weird things pop up or whatever, multiple people reach out to all of us saying, hey, did you guys see this? Want to maybe talk about it in the podcast, whatever. We can't see. I mean, I work all day. Wade works all day. Paul does a lot of interesting things, including walking the dog and going past murder houses and all kinds of other stuff.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about it.
Right.
No, it's a homicide investigation. We don't know if it was a murder or not. There was a dead body.
Somebody is dead, but not in Paul's house, just to clarify.
So, real quick, Meli, when I got home, to my sister's house in Hermosa Beach, turns out SWAT was there all day. And they were there was at Hermosa Beach. I'm sure the whole podcast wants to hear the story.
It's an interesting story. I'm all right with it.
I get back and, I still have to get my steps in. I didn't walk enough at the expo, but, I walked a lot. And it turns out, I start checking the Hermosa Beach Facebook group, the locals group there. There was, the police got notified somehow. How it happened, that we don't know if it's from the realtor that was trying to sell a house or the upstairs neighbor that noticed a foul smell coming out and hadn't seen the neighbor in a couple weeks. So they ended up sending the police there to check on him. Turns out there was a dead body inside, and the person inside the house, who wasn't supposed to be there, gave the indication he was armed and dangerous. So this is right on the beach, so right on the strand. The house, you literally walk 10 feet outside the house, and you're on the Hermosa Beach on the sand. So they ended up calling SWAT in there, and they had a standoff like all day. I think finally at 9:00 at night, the person came out and was taken into custody. And I have not heard more details about it yet, but
that's
they
crazy.
were dressed like one of the members of the Blues Brothers.
Yes.
You had sent me the video, and he had the hat, he had the suit, and the skinny tie. And it's like, what the hell? So I can't wait to hear the rest of that
And
story.
supposedly it was a woman too, even though it
Really?
looks yes, who she had been seen for the last couple of weeks, like down on the pier area, which is like 6 blocks from where this house is, and specifically at the lighthouse, one of the bars down there. But
Hmm.
more local LA data details than most of our listeners want to know. But
Yeah, I hadn't even heard that. Oh, that's awful. But
yeah.
Paul, going back to those Detroit LOA things, did if that person did buy them, can't you just put a link on the main page for everybody to pitch in?
Oh, we'll do that. Yes, we will put it on either the Dirty Laundry website or on our Facebook page.
Yeah, we'll blast it out because nobody, again, that's an amazing thing to go out and do. Hopefully they were able to get them, but nobody should get stuck with that kind of bill to help save the hobby. We can all pitch in a couple bucks and sort that out.
I bet you once we put that out there, my over under on how long it will take to collect $200 is 2 hours.
If that.
Yeah.
But those are the kind of things that can happen, and it's scary that that's there, and who knows other teams that stuff could pop up with, or I mean, and that's going back to too is so many we've had some of these conversations, and I know we'll have them in the future. Is LOAs are important, but LOAs aren't the end all be all.
True.
So I mean, there's other ways with actual game worn. I know it's harder with issued stuff, but game worn stuff where there's marks and you can photo match and do other research, do those things. We'll keep you up to date on that. We're going to save the other topic for next week just because I want to try and dig up a little bit more information and see if we can find out. And I know a lot of people, we got a bunch of messages on this, plus other people were sharing it, is the Team USA baseball team wearing the Team USA Olympic game-worn jerseys. So if anybody out there listening has been able to talk to one of their Fanatics reps or got any inside information on what game those jerseys were worn in,
very clean. Did you see the pictures? Very, very clean game worn jersey. Like
that,
in the pictures.
I'm not necessarily surprised about because of only being Team USA was wearing a jersey a game. It's possible they were issued also.
Yeah, it's like, were they issued and they just said that? I was like trying to zoom in on the pictures. I don't know. I was like, what is this? I didn't have time.
But
I'm like, that was weird.
We'll try and dig some more info. And
plus, are they selling those?
That's unclear. I'm gonna actually try and reach out to maybe use one of the people's reps that deals with Fanatics on a regular and see if we can get any info if they will give that out.
We can also look into and discuss the Jack Hughes situation about trying to get his gold puck from the Hockey Hall of Fame. But
yeah, and kind of where what's that, Wade?
Yeah. All over my feed, it's like, that's ridiculous. He should get it. That's dumb. He should have like on everything. It's like I was like, oh my gosh, I have no opinion. I don't care.
Yeah,
whatever.
We already have a full show for next week. So with that, Meli, thank you for coming back on, giving us the update. Riley,
thank you guys.
Hope you feel better. We'll see. I'll see you next month in Vegas. Excited to meet you in person. Hopefully, Riley.
Me too. Well. I'm looking forward to meeting you, Doctor. We've been on each other's social media for a while. I'm pretty sure, but we never met in person. So I'm excited for that. I'm sorry we're going to miss you, Wade, but I know we'll meet soon someday.
Hey, St. Louis is an easy flight from LA, Meli.
My bestie lives right over there, so I need to go.
There you go.
But let's be honest. Almost everywhere in the U.S. is an easy flight from LAX.
Oh, right.
It really is. It really is. I need to get over there to St. Louis because my bestie lives in that area over there, so I know that would be a fun trip for me to make.
Well, come to the Midwest. It's nice.
Okay.
With that, please like, subscribe, share. If you've got topics you need to feed us, stuff like the breaking news this week. And even if we've seen it, I appreciate if 10 people message because that tells me they're thinking about this show, and it means a lot to have that kind of support in the hobby. So thank you. Like, subscribe, share that out, and we will see you guys back next week.
Before we go,
yes.
Quick update. The person trying to obtain the LOAs not sure if he has or not, but the news I'm getting, it seemed to be shady on the seller side. The seller's setting the money to a different name.
Oh, yeah. Shady.
So
the plot thickens.
So the plot
Ooh.
thickens. Sorry, I had to extend the show a whole
No.
45
I'm glad
seconds,
that came in. I mean, this is, again, we record this, but we're messaging with people trying to get this stuff live to us as we're recording it. So we appreciate people reaching out, sorting out this stuff. And if we have to hold the wrapping up the show for a few minutes to share that, we will. And hopefully we'll have some more info to talk about it on the show next week. If something does happen where we find out maybe they don't exist at all or whatever the shadiness is, if it still gets bought and destroyed, we will let everybody know and keep everybody up to date. So thank you again, and we'll see you guys all back next week.